Welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston. Join Dr. Pinkston today as she teaches you how an integrative approach to health, combining holistic and contemporary medical information, can lead you to the better life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston.
Hey, good morning. I am here for another episode of The Better Life, and we are going to better your life today because I have a great podcaster that is on with me. He's not just a podcaster, but he's a fitness guru. This guy is amazing. CrossFit, you name it, martial arts, you name it. He has done it all. And I was on his show. He's a podcaster, so he has a show, Frequency, excuse me. You're going to kill me, DJ.
Oh,
Frequency Interrupted. And I was on his show recently, so we're going to flip sides. I'm going to put him on the spot today. So DJ Thomas, welcome in. I'm so glad to see you.
What's up? Glad to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So, we were just talking a second ago about how you've entered in and ushered in the new world of married life. And so congratulations.
Thanks.
I have to throw that in there for you. That's for your wife now. So now you've got a wife. Now we got to make her happy. So just kidding. So, when I was on the show with you, we had a great talk about kind of the world of, not really the fitness industry or anything, but the health and wellness industry, about how you and I are, trying to get the word out there about the changes that people need to make to improve their world and health and all. And we have gone off of the beaten track now in our lives as far as stress, as far as the crappy foods that we eat, the way we don't exercise and don't pay attention to ourselves. And so I love your theories and world about it. Tell me kind of what you're doing to try to change all that.
Well, I just at this point, just bringing, attention to not being so comfortable in what you're taking in and what you're doing, just the minimal exercise daily, even if you're just doing some push-ups or some sit-ups, even if you have to squat against the wall, if you have to do air squats, doing something, you just getting, we're in since COVID, we've been in life of convenience and comfort. We're scared to get out and move around. So we've been a little more isolated. And so people may have not got out there and moved around like they should, so that's something that I've talked about a lot, is just doing something, being active in some way, and then not taking that little bit of convenience food in, just because you're driving by the fast food, wait a second, or go get a protein bar or something, just exactly. Watching what you're putting in and then taking the time to do a little something.
But how do you do that though? Because, when you talk about convenience is convenient for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So, we're exhausted. We're overstressed and overworked. And it's not just COVID either. We've been doing this, for a couple of decades now. We've been ruining our lives for a couple of decades. And I know because I was there at one point, super heavy, super sick, and, looking at the rest of my life going, wait a minute. And I don't know, the light bulb went off for me, and I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason. But what do we do to get people to get their light bulb to go off and see what they're doing to themselves? Because this is really, we've got kids who are going to, or the parents are going to outlive their kids now, with the life expectancy, changes. So what do we do to get people to get their light bulb to go off?
Well, spend 5 minutes giving a damn about your life. You know what I mean? Like you spend 2 or 3 hours a day on these devices looking at everyone else's business, but what time are you investing in yourself? So even if it's 5 minutes a day, take 5 minutes and look at, hey, log what you ate yesterday. Look back and say, oh crap, that, I did that. I can do better tomorrow.
Exactly.
And, maybe just taking something out one at a time, not trying to make a complete life transformation in a month. There's no easy way here. It's just take it in baby steps. I think so many people get discouraged because they get overwhelmed because they look at these fitness models on Instagram and they think, oh, I'll never look that way. So I'm just not going to try it all.
Right. True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that. I'll admit, I would look at things and think, it's going to take me so long to get there. And, I was looking for the quick way. So I would go to my doctor even and say, where's that pill? Where's that shot? Mm-hmm. How am I going to transform overnight? And, when I had a great trainer who worked with me, Sandy Townsend, an IFBB pro up in Colorado, I'm still working with her sometimes. She, sat and said, Mariann, you think you're going to do this in like 3 months, 6 months. It's going to take you 2 years to get your life back. Well, I did it in a year and 2 months. But But that really woke me up, and it made me realize that no, there's no quick way when I was really searching for that. And I think so, you go back to the convenience idea. We're looking for the most convenient thing to get us through because really we are packed. Our schedules are jam-packed, and that's everybody's excuse. I don't have time. And we do have time. You have to make time, and you're right. You have to give a damn about yourself. You have to, you have to look at things and think, am I really going to sustain doing this? And you're not. You're going to end up with a few good years, and then the clock is ticking. We get sick. That's another 10 years off your life, another 10 years off your life, another 2 years off your life. And you're going to spend about the last 10 or 15 in a hospital bed or in a walker or something. And no. Cut. That's enough, right?
Yeah, it's just interesting how much we put time into everything else but ourselves, investing in ourselves and, finding something. You have to enjoy the process, right? If you're going to get into trying to get into better health, it's going to be grueling. It's going to be complicated. But if it's really, really, really hard and you don't enjoy it, that makes it even worse, So there's so many different ways versus 20 years ago of how we're educated on fitness and what we can find to be active and find different things that we may enjoy, whether it's jujitsu, CrossFit, kickboxing classes, yoga, Pilates, spin. There's a million things you can go out there and try and do. And if you don't like this, if you don't want to lift weights in the mirror, that's okay. Go find something else to do. If you don't want to get on the elliptical for an hour, go find something else to do.
Right. Something that you like. And that's key. And I found it. I used to do cardio like an hour a day, 5 days a week, and I hated it. And, I found weights, and it's simple. Yeah. That for me is what works. Doesn't work for my daughter, for instance. She likes swimming. So go do that. And it's really important to find, what you like. So you're an expert. When you have somebody in front of you, now this is what you do, more podcasting and wide education. But when you're personal trainings, what do you do to say you have somebody in front of you that hasn't exercised but 3 times in their life and, or has been too busy to eat right and just doesn't know where to begin? Where do you start people off?
Well, the diet thing is the most important always, because that's the thing they're going to give up on first, right? Right. So I just try to start with something that's black and white and then slowly take things away. Right. Look at, okay, what is your, some people, I've noticed this a lot, some people love, soda, okay? They love it and they drink it every day and they drink 4 or 5 a day and they don't consume enough water. So my thing is, okay, look, we have to work on that first. Right. We got to get one thing out at a time. Is it fried foods? Is that, find those one things and then slowly take those out. That way they don't get, discomforted immediately and then shut off. Right. And as far as working out, it's just going back and, digging into their past and figuring out what they've done, as far as exercise and slowly implementing something in that they're comfortable with into a routine that's going to work for them.
Exactly. So I also too find that, I'm very unlucky in a way where I can sit with patients. I have 10 or 15 minutes of their life here where I've got them captured and I'm like, all right, I've got to make you change in 10 or 15 minutes. Somebody like you is as a trainer. And then there's people here in San Antonio, because you're in Louisiana. And so there are people here in San Antonio that they can reach out to and, ask about what type of changes can I make, and then get more accountability, get more time where, you are with them at least once a week, or so I go 5 days a week, and that's just my choice. I don't go to movies. Yeah. I don't eat out. I don't do any of that. My money goes into my personal trainer. God bless her. So she can buy a small car with what I give her every year, but I love it. It's important to me. That's my priority. It didn't used to be. My phone, my purse, what I was wearing, all those things. He said, well, it still is sometimes, but now I feel better in what I'm wearing and doing, but my priorities go that way. So my point was, though, that having somebody like that accountability-wise, finding somebody you can talk to every single week. And I tell patients, too, if you want to come see me once a week, you got good insurance, they'll do it. Come see me once a week. We'll sit down and go over your food journal. I'll teach you everything I know if I can and give you as much power as you're willing to take and take control of. Most of the time, people really don't understand that it's all in their lap, but they need guidance. Yeah. They need guidance to pull them through. Do you find the same?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, anybody that, over the years, I've gotten kind of out of the training so much that I've, pushed more into the podcast for reaching a broad audience on all levels, not just fitness, but, overall mental health and everything, I would think. But over the years that, I've had multiple clients. I just recently took one back on because she's been off for 3 years and she let herself go again. And I was like, look, it's okay. But, we've been through this before. You know what you're supposed to do. Let's get back on track. She's like, well, I just need you there. I just need you there. And some people just need someone,
yes.
They need that person to make them feel comfortable in uncomfortable times. It's understandable. So yeah, I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah. And that's what I had. Like I say, I had a lady up in Colorado. I found her on Facebook. Actually, a friend pointed her out to me. And she does a lot of, personal trainings, not internationally, I think now. I think she's got people overseas, but nationwide. And so I just linked on her and we were through Messenger I didn't even have her cell phone. So now I transferred to somebody here in town because I wanted to do the exercise component. So that's what I did first, like you mentioned, was get the diet thing changed. And boy, I was a soda-holic. You said 5 to 6. That's it? Oh my gosh, just to keep myself awake, just to keep myself from munching all the time. I was on Splenda Coke. So I guarantee you I probably had a case every 2 days for sure.
Whoa.
And it's sick. And I have to tell people that because I know I'm not the only person that did that or does that now. I don't now, but I did. And I know I'm not the only one. And that was just to keep going. Well, I got melanoma, and there's some strong studies that show the link between sucralose or Splenda consumption and some cancers, and melanoma is one of them. And I did. And so, you at some point, the consequence is going to slap you in the face like a rude awakening, and it did. And so, if people can just look at what they need to do beforehand, and I get a lot of complaints sometimes about the show for what I do here because I have such a short amount of time that I don't give enough pointers about what to do. I can point out the problem all day long, but I don't give enough pointers about, what to do. So what I would like to accomplish first this morning, and some of what you've done is, the changes that you've asked people to make on a level. One thing is the money then. The excuse of I don't have time is one thing. Yeah. The other excuse is the money. I don't have the money. Yeah. How do you blast those theories?
Well, here's the thing. Everyone says
in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Everyone says eating healthy is expensive. That is not true.
Nope.
I used to meal prep once a week for myself, 6 meals a day, and it cost me $80 a week. 6 meals a day for 7 days.
Yes.
And it only cost me $80 a week. So if you would go to a meal prep company, you're probably going to, for that many meals, you're going to spend almost $300.
Exactly.
So it's not so much as eating healthy is expensive. It's, I don't want to take the time to figure out how to save money and eat healthy at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because people will go through the Taco Bell and spend, $20 on something where that could have been 4 or 5 meals you prepped,
That's right.
So that's what I tell a lot of people. It's like, that's the excuse you already come up with because you've heard that for years. Because it used to be because we didn't have the knowledge on how to cook and, make healthy alternatives and stuff like that. But I'm a type of person that if it grows out of the ground or it walks, I'm eating it. Anything else, I'm not. Nothing in a box. Something I've gotten to where I'm, I don't consume anything that's processed. I'm completely cut all those things out, and that's taken years too. But that's something I strongly believe in is if it's natural, grown out of the ground, or it's some type of creature, it's okay for consumption.
If it walks. I'm going to write down all the DJ one-liners and make a book because those are awesome. But you're so right. And when people read the label, they go to the store and think that that's convenient. It's in a box. And you look at the list of ingredients and it's got 20 things on there. Half of them you can't pronounce. That's a good start. That's one to cut right there.
Yeah.
Perimeter of the store, you've heard the old rule, perimeter of the store where the fruits and vegetables are, the meats are. But even in that, you've got to, work on studying your selections and make, good choices there too. But just get started with something.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things out there too where people look at these healthy desserts, keto desserts, leave all the desserts alone.
Right.
Just let's focus on fruits, vegetables, meat, and that, let's just stay with that. And then as you start making those changes, then you can dive into those little weird things. But those things, typically, there's some kind of weird chemical in there anyways that's not naturally made. Sugar is sugar. If you try to use an alternative, it's not going to work. And, it's interesting how there's all these little healthy, treats.
Yeah. So if people have the sweet tooth, because that's something they've got to wean off of.
Yeah.
So if they have the sweet tooth, what artificial sweetener do you typically use? Like if you have your coffee or?
I hate any artificial sweetener. So monk fruit Monk fruit is natural and it's sweet and it doesn't taste like crap. I'm not a real big fan of stevia. It's got a bitter taste. It is natural, but so monk fruit's my go-to if you're going to use something for sweetening coffee.
Yeah.
I'm not real big on dairy and I'm not real big on gluten, but I don't push those things hard because I don't think, it's body dependent, right? It depends on the body. Like everyone's different. Some people can't process those things,
Yeah. It's true. Everybody is different and everybody has different things. Dairy and gluten are the big, keywords on Google right now. Everybody's trying to avoid. Not everybody needs to avoid it. The other thing too about dairy is if it is organic, grass-fed, no antibiotics, very clean dairy, like it used to be when, our grandparents were young, then that would be something that, sometimes won't upset your stomach. But if you're, doing the dairy from the grain-fed and with the antibiotics and all the preserves and things like that to it, then that's probably going to upset your stomach. Think about stevia too. So stevia is kind of bitter in some aspects. Again, it depends on what you get. The more pure it is, the more bitter it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stevia monk fruit combinations. And I found that if people are trying to wean off of, because it can be a little expensive, right? But if people are trying to wean off of, say, Splenda or something because it's incredibly sweet, that monk fruit stevia combination is really important. And stevia by itself, and there's a whole other topic, but stevia by itself can upset your gut. And that's a lot of reasons, gut is a lot of reasons why we have autoimmunity and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you do that combination, wean off, and then go just monk fruit, I think you're doing good. I can eat a sweet potato now. No sweetener, no cinnamon, no brown sugar, no butter, nothing. And it's like candy to me. Or oatmeal, same way. Nothing in it but almond milk.
Isn't that funny how that works? Like after you've been off something so long. Yeah. Sweet potato plain. I'm not covered in marshmallows and butter and brown sugar. I'm just eating it plain and it tastes like a treat to me.
Only at Thanksgiving though, I have to do it.
You gotta have the layout there.
Well, you know what? Sure. Our first little half is just about gone here. So I am going to take a quick break and then we will come back and tie up a few items. And I appreciate you being on today. We'll see you in just a minute. The term beauty is only skin deep takes a new meaning when you find a medical spa that works one-on-one with your individual needs in a safe, relaxing atmosphere. And with medical spa on every corner, why would Dolce Beauty and Laser be different? Owner Lisa Trinquier has designed the ultimate medical spa experience. Botox fillers, laser hair removal, facials, weight loss, body sculpting lasers, and infrared sauna and more, your body and anti-aging experience is waiting. Our injector specialist has greater than 10 years of experience, more than any other injector in San Antonio. And with me, Dr. Marianne Pinkston, as medical director, we provide the ultra-innovative experience. Go to dolcebl.com, that's DOLCEBL.com, and contact us for a free consult and 10% off your first service. Call 210-686-0505. We are located off I-10 on Camp Bullis Road in North San Antonio at 6865 Camp Bullis Road. Okay, welcome back. I am with DJ Thomas from, I really wrecked this in the first round, but the Frequency Interrupted. So you are a personal trainer and you're from Louisiana, and we have been talking about your podcast. Well, we've been talking about a lot of things, not your podcast. I'm going to give you a chance here in a minute. But in the first half, we were talking about a lot of excuses and things like that. I think something that needs to be dealt with for people too is carb addiction. So I think we are a carb addicted society. One of my theories is that if you are, drinking and having fun, it's legal, you can do it, but you get behind the wheel of a car and drive, then you have a problem with alcohol, if you're going to take chances. So why is it not the same that if we are, carbs are legal and we have a great time, we feel great, but we are hurting ourselves and gaining weight and we can't get away from it? Why do we not see that as the same problem, as an addiction?
Man, I think we just lean on those things for comfort. Like we were talking about earlier, like people look to food for comfort. They stress eat too. So it's interesting how that works. Like when someone's stressed, their cortisol levels go up, they gain weight, and they're eating too. They're adding to that, which is, interesting. But man, it's just something that we are not taking the time to invest in ourselves. We invest in everything else.
Yes.
So people talk about money, their kids, but you have one body, you have one life. Why are you not taking care of it? It's the ultimate question, right? Everyone would think that this is something that I use, that I run the race with. I only have a select amount of time. Mm-hmm. Why would I shorten that by overeating or, consuming something that's bad for me? It's it's crazy.
I think you have to just expose the problem. I don't think people have ever thought of it that way. So I didn't. I just thought, I'm getting through my day and this food is just helping me. I mean, that is the way I dealt with my problems.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of times what I was explaining to you a minute ago about the patient of mine who had gastric bypass. And, it is a great solution, but I think sometimes, when they get through it and they lose all that weight and then they start to relapse and gain it back, they don't realize they didn't deal with the problem with food in the beginning. And mm-hmm. It's not just patients who go through gastric bypass, it's everybody. It was me too. So, how do you counsel people like that about facing that and overcoming something? It's huge. It's so hard to get away from. It takes time.
One thing is we're over 40% obese in this country, right? So the thing is, these things do not seem to be a bad, these food that we're eating don't seem to be bad. People don't look at things and say that's bad for me because everything is so easy to access now and they don't invest. So my biggest thing is always this: take time to look at what you're putting in your body.
Right.
Now, if you don't know, there's this device you have in your hand all day long. Google it. Typically, if you look up the macros of something, it's going to be true.
Right.
And if you look and say, okay, well, maybe not so much over carb consumption. Carbs are not bad for you. It's just taking use carbs that are fiber-based. Use something that, take in fruits and vegetables versus eating a bunch of bread. That's my biggest thing is if we're going to eat carbs, let's figure out one that's better for us than this,
exactly.
one we may be consuming all the time.
Because don't even get me started on keto diet and getting rid of carbs and don't even, because that is a big one for me. And everybody chooses it. Everybody in my clinic, I said, so I've been trying to lose weight. I've been on the keto diet. First of all, they're not really doing the real keto diet, but oh my gosh, I'm not going to get off on that road because I'll kill it. So we are actually getting close to the end here, my friend. I want people to know how to find you, and they will be able to on my website, which I'll explain in a minute, but I want people to know how to find you. You've got a great show.
Yeah, so Frequency Interrupted, I'm on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook's massive. I'm actually, using Facebook as a platform to push the podcast out too, which is great. So you can find me there. Of course, Instagram, any of the streaming services. And my biggest push always with my show is I bring guests on, I talk to anyone. And it's something that we have conversations typically about accountability, calling people out on stuff and just, getting people's story out there to influence people who may have had these issues and just move forward. And like I said earlier, not only health and fitness, but just overall life.
Right. You do a great job. I had a blast on your show, and it was great to be able to be on the flip side of it and give out my story and whatnot. And so I am going to put you on my website so people can find you. Of course, they can go to, like you said, any of the places, iTunes, and you're easily found. So, but I will put you on the website. So if you go to drpbetterlife.com, that's where all of my information is about all my streaming services and places you can find me. But drpbetterlife.com. I highlight all my guests, and I'm going to have DJ on there so that you can find him, because this really is very I think you're right. You're right. It's not about a lot of information. It's about people sharing their stories. And that's where I was able to share mine. And it's great to hear what other people are doing, that other people stress, other people struggle. And we all go through it, and you're not alone, and it's just amazing. So I love what you're doing out there. So I will put you out there. For a little bit of information about where to find me here in San Antonio. So I am in Northwest San Antonio at 10865 Shanefield Road. I do take insurances. I do take cash pay. Believe it or not, it is less expensive sometimes when you don't have insurance to come see me than it is with. It's crazy. I don't understand how that works. Don't get me started on that either. But the number is 210-698-7825. And PinkstonFamilyPracticeSA.com is my website for the clinic and the practice, so you can get more information on that. But for finding DJ and all of his information and the rest of mine, it's drpbetterlife.com. I appreciate you so much, really. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. Please take care out there.